to the United States. Reports say that in an attempt to enhance deterrence against China, Washington is set to deploy ground intermediate-range missiles in the Indo-Pacific in 2024. This will be the first arsenal deployment by the United States in the region since the end of the Cold War. Officials say options on the table for the United States include land-based versions of the Standard Missile 6 and the Tomahawk cruise missile. These missiles boast a range between 500 and 2,700 kilometers. Ground-based missiles do not require runways or ports, which allows for greater flexibility. Experts say the missile units could be deployed to the U.S. territory of Guam. Guam is strategically important for the U.S. in its location, according to experts. Located in the Western Pacific, the U.S. island lies 4,000 kilometers away from China. This is the United States' first deployment since the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty expired in 2019. The treaty barred countries from developing and possessing land-based missiles with a range between 500 to 5,500 kilometers. While China continued to increase its arsenal, the United States was bound by this treaty. Pentagon reports reveal China possesses 1,500 missiles with a range of 1,000 to 5,500 kilometers. Wion is now available in your country. Download the app.
So that was relating to U.S. deploys weapons to Indo-Pacific as China ups aggression. So missiles are going to be sent to ground missiles, and the supplies are going to be sent to Guam. The perimeters of Guam, around Guam, will be China, South Korea, North Korea, Japan. Guam is in the Pacific Ocean. Bottom of that, on the left, will be Indonesia. So, sending weapons relating to we'll read it here. The United States reports that says that an attempt to enhance deterrence against China. Washington is set to deploy the ground intermediate range missiles to Indo-Pacific in 2024. So, base up in Guam, relating to these enhancement missiles as a deterrent. So, for defense purposes against China and the ramp up of that. Ecclesiastes, this is real quick. He sets the time for, everything that happens in the world happens in the time God chooses, man. So everything's in the Lord's time, man. He sets the time for the birth and the time for death, time for planning and a time for pulling up, a time for KILING, and a time for healing. Time for tearing down and the time to build up. He sets the time for sorrow and the time for joy, the time for mourning and the time for dancing, a time for making love and the time for not making love, time for kissing and the time for not kissing, to refraining and not to refrain as well. He sets a time for finding and a time for losing, a time for saving and a time for throwing away, the time for tearing and time for mending, the time for silence and the time to talk. He sets time for love and a time to hate. So the Lord sets that boundaries relating to the balance, man. That's all balance. Time to love, time to hate, time to tear down, time not to tear down. A time of war, time for war, and a time for peace. So we're in a time of war, man. Time for preparing for war relating to these nations, man. That's what you're seeing. We're seeing supplies being sent, weapons supplies, different things to certain parts of the world, man. For what? Just in case of war, man. You know what I mean? And really, they prepare for war, man. That's why they having these supplies of different armament being sent to different places, man. You know, because these countries are really going to prepare for war. War is going to break out, man. You see in the proxy wars, you see in these small wars, you see it happening. You know, you had a ceasefire, and they already been bombing already after the ceasefire relating to the Israel-Hamas thing, man. So that was just a temporary, something very temporary. Now they bombing again. You know what I mean? So we in a time of war. You know, think not that I come to send peace, but the sword. Think not I come to send peace on earth, but rather division. Think not I come to send fire on earth, will already be kindled, man. So the Lord sent a certain vibration on earth, man. It's not a friendly one. Scripture talks about Matthew 24:6, man. You shall hear wars and rumors of wars, man. You know, that's the gossip, news, wars, and actual fighting, man, happening, man. You know, Ukraine, Russia, continuance. Israel, Hamas, continuance. You know what I mean? And probably other areas will continue as well, man. Because we're in the time of war, man. Is there something sure relating to that? That was relating to Indo-Pacific area, which would be Guam area, because the surrounding areas of Guam is China, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, the bottom, Indonesia on the left. So they prepare. That's like a, you know, a store, a place of a stock for a build-up. You know what I mean? For, you know, when something breaks out, man. That's the area of that. And they have bases up in Guam anyway. But the point is, they're preparing for war, man. We in time of war, man. We're in the time of war. So this is something short. Praise Yahweh Shem Yahshua B'Shem Rakakada Zaya War Shalom.